Hey guys, welcome to this webisode of Triple R. It's been a while, but I'm back. So, we want to talk about wireless mesh today. It's a continuation of our story where we were trying to help our viewers and our readers get better internet around their house. Now, if you've gone through part 1 and figured out what was wrong with your internet and why you weren't getting a good internet service, and then you went to part 2 and you were looking at routers, then welcome to part 3. Now, part 3 is for people who have reasonably large houses. Now, this was an excerpt from a conversation I had with one of my friends on Facebook. And as you can see, the first thing she said was, how can I improve my internet? And by improving the internet, I had to ask the question, so what part of the internet did you want to improve? Because I couldn't get coverage in my house. And when she described her house, it's a 4,500 square foot, 3-story house. So the neighborhood would probably look something like this. I've taken a drone and flew it around the neighborhood, and lo and behold, this is what a conventional neighborhood in KL potentially will look like. So if you're staying in one of these houses, then this video is for you. Now, mesh is a way of setting up Wi-Fi that is not exactly very new, but the fact is recently the more conventional networking brands have introduced their own mesh products into the market and made it somewhat more available. So by making it somewhat more available, there are 3 main brands out in the market today that has wireless mesh. The first one being Netgear with the Orbi, and that was introduced first about 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, sorry. And then about a year ago, or early this year, the Linksys launched what is called the Velop system. And the Velop's not available here in Malaysia, but I did get my hands on it. And last but not least, Asus launched the Lyra. Now these systems perform about the same. So I want to go through this process, and what I had was I received the Netgear Orbi. Now the Netgear Orbi is different from the Linksys Velop as well as the Asus Lyra in that it comes only in a set of 2, and if you needed one more, you have to buy it separately. Now if you're staying in a 3-story house like what I'm showing you here, and again in the video of the neighborhood here, then you're going to need to purchase one of these satellites as an extra, because you will need one on every floor, which happens to be the home of a friend of mine. And then I went on a walkabout, basically, just to show you guys how big the house is. And this is the video. So the study room is on the 2nd floor, and that's where his main internet connection comes in. And I come out of the study room. At the back is the main master bedroom, and of course, to respect his privacy, we decided not to film inside his master bedroom. But walking along the corridor, you can see that it overlooks the living room, which is downstairs, but then there are 3 bedrooms at the back, 1 guest, 2 bedrooms, and then staircase going up to the top floor and then down to the ground floor. Now this is a typical size of a house where you will never be satisfied with the internet coming from the router that is provided to you by the internet service provider. So I brought the Netgear in and I set the Netgear up in his home. Now setting up the Netgear Orbi involves just an app, so you don't actually need to break out the notebook and go through some very difficult connections. And here's a quick video on how the setup is done. So first of all, you have to connect to the Wi-Fi signal of the Netgear Orbi. And then, once you're connected to the Netgear Orbi Wi-Fi system, you then go ahead and log into it using the app. And walking through the app, it'll tell you how to set it up, what to add, if you want to change the name, all of those. Of course you can customize it, but I left it as it is and we'll walk through it. And once you've set up the first station, then it'll ask you to set up the satellites, which is the connecting Wi-Fi stations. And those of you who are saying, I don't have cables running all over the house. So don't worry about it. It connects to the satellite via Wi-Fi. Now, why do I want to set up and why do I want to talk about the Netgear Orbi? It's because the Netgear Orbi comes with a 4x4 channel. So it has the biggest overall Wi-Fi speed in comparison to the Linksys Velop as well as the Asus Lyra. The Asus Lyra also configures about the same way. Now, for the purpose of this particular video, we'll be looking at the Netgear Orbi. I'll do one video separately for the Asus Lyra. But why did I pick the Netgear Orbi? Number one, it's the only mesh system among the three that is here that has a USB port in the back, which will support plug-in drive and printers, as well as multiple LAN ports. So you can connect it to a host of devices. The others only come with, because it's more of an accessory to the main router than a replacement of the router itself. At the moment of this video, when I tested the Netgear Orbi, it didn't work to replace the router from the ISP, in this case Unify. Those of you who get the Netgear Orbi, you will have to connect it to the router. You can't connect it to the modem at this point. I didn't get it to work. Okay, so next up, you do need an extra satellite because the signals are not good enough to cover the third story of the house. So once you do that, you set it up and you start connecting to the systems one by one. Here's a little video that I did on why it is so important to have this. Now, there were there was a question from my friend saying it's too expensive, and basically they said I could buy a router and put it on every floor. You could do that. Theoretically speaking, you can put a router on every floor, but that would mean you need to cable every floor. Now, if you don't have a cable on every floor, getting a contractor to come in and run the cables can be a little bit of a hassle. And you won't be able to get seamless roaming. Now, in the case of running mesh, and as the demonstration of this particular Netgear Orbi goes, you can actually walk around the house with your device, whether it's a mobile phone or laptop or a tablet, and you can walk around in the house and move from room to room and floor to floor without having to worry about your wireless signal. If you have routers that are different, then you will have a problem because there is this thing called a clinging Wi-Fi. Well, the Wi-Fi gets very clingy, so your device kind of doesn't want to let go of the Wi-Fi connection that it has and connect to a stronger one. In this case, when it moves from room to room and it kind of transits, the Wi-Fi systems itself will do a handover and connect your device to the next Wi-Fi. So one, you can roam. Two, you only need one Wi-Fi ID. Now, if you set separate routers in your house and use the same Wi-Fi ID, you will have the issue where it refuses to connect to the second one, or it doesn't want to connect back to the original one. Right? So that's one of the good things about this Netgear Orbi and the mesh system. So as we set it up and we have it on 3 stories, you can then move about the house. As you can see, I was trying to download a 4 gig file across from the NAS storage, as well as watch a 4K video. And it did that admirably. I was able to move from floor to floor, all the way up and down. And this is one of those devices that if you're having a problem with Wi-Fi in the home and you want your home to be covered, and 2, you don't want to have the cable guy come in and run cables everywhere. 3, you don't want to reconfigure routers, and that could be expensive, or that also can be complicated. Then get the Netgear Orbi, because it's really one of those systems where, or get the mesh, and in this case the Netgear Orbi, because it's one of those systems where it's easy to configure, and all you need is a mobile device and you can set it up in the comfort of your own study room. If you have one of these houses, which is really big in this case, all right, or medium sized, you probably need just a single pack of 2. But if you have a bigger house and you have 3 stories or more, then you're probably going to need to get one of these satellites and connect it. So it's easy to set up. You don't have a mess. You only have one Wi-Fi ID to remember, and then it's so easy for you to roam about. So it's one of those reasons why Wi-Fi systems have improved a lot. Now, I did compare it with the Wi-Fi system of a standard access point. It is much stronger than a standard access point. But at the same time, because you can have two satellites or three satellites in this case helping to reinforce one another, you get a bigger Wi-Fi web or net all over the house. All right, so if you have one of these problems and this person's conversation with me is something you can relate to, then go out and get yourself a mesh. Netgear Orbi is what we're testing here, but I will have videos on the Linksys Velop as well as the Asus Lyra coming up. Right, thanks a lot. Cheers. See you guys in the next one.